All right. So, you know, the good news is that Ahmaud Arbery's murderers, the lynchers, as you will, they're, I think the legal term is cucked. Let me see if I can't get that guilty verdict being handed to them. Hold on. Ahmaud Arbery, guilty verdict. Give me that. Can we get the closer on this? There we go. Absolutely. Throw it out there. From 6 hours ago. 140,000 views. We all want to see it.
In the Superior Court of Glenn County, State of Georgia, the State of Georgia versus Travis McMichael, case number CR 000433. Jury.
You know why they call it that? Wait, hold on. I'm going to try this again.
0 versus Travis McMichael, case number CR 0
0 bitches.
0
0 life.
0
0 future.
4
4 decades in jail.
3
3 people sentenced.
3.
3 holes on a woman beneath the waist, unless the woman has a penis, which most do.
Jury verdict form. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. I'm going to ask that whoever just made an outburst be removed from the court, please.
But worth it? Absolutely. Woo! Woo! He reminds me a bit of what's his name? Colin Haverson, the guy from What We Do in the Shadows. What was it? Colin Robinson, thank you. Wait, go back. Do we want? That's what we care about. The woo. We're wooers in here.
Outburst be removed from the court. Guilty.
Ow! Woo!
I'm going to ask that whoever just made an outburst be removed from the court, please.
That's the real L. It's not actually the guilty verdict. It's the woo when the guilty verdict comes out. That's what really does it, honestly. That fist, though? Yeah, he's happy. Who wouldn't be happy? Who wouldn't be? The facts of this case are so astoundingly bad. I mean, I've talked about this a bit before, but then we didn't release the video because then the jury verdict came out. But essentially, like, you can look at the facts of the case if you want, but they just straight up lynched the guy. With no provocation. He admitted on the stand that he was not under threat when Ahmaud Arbery was killed. And the defense's approach to respond to this seems to have been, I don't know, being racist. It's not just, I said this before, that really weird toenail comment where they were like, yeah, he killed Ahmaud Arbery, who had long, nasty toenails. Very weird thing to say in court. Extremely strange thing to say in court. But there was racism beyond that, okay? Not just the fact that, and never let anyone forget this, okay? The only reason we even got this verdict was because the footage of Ahmaud Arbery's murder was leaked. Prior to that point, the police didn't do anything. Public pressure was what got the police to actually arrest these lads. Anyone want to say, like, oh, there's no racism, justice was done? Well, then why the fuck did the police not arrest? Clearly, this was something which warranted an arrest, given the fact that it was an easy guilty verdict for the 3. They knew. Just a bunch of white good old boys. What was it? It was the dad who was a former cop? The dad who killed Ahmaud Arbery was a former cop, right? Yeah. Good old boys protecting their own. The police, the biggest gang in America, and they look out for each other just as much as what people think of when they say gang traditionally. Anyway, as people have been angrily linking me for the entirety of this so far 31-minute stream, how the jury in the Ahmaud Arbery case ended up nearly all white and why it matters. I think that the ratio of white to black people should be like 5-2 or 5-3, but instead there's only one non-white person on the jury or something like that. Sorry, footage wasn't leaked. One of the defendant's lawyers intentionally released it because they thought it made them look good. You're right, that's quite a bit funnier. Anyway, apparently there has been some substantial behind-the-scenes grumbling about racism in the jury selection process, a deliberate effort to stack the jury. The racial makeup of the jury has been a stirring controversy since it was finalized on Wednesday. Only one juror is back, while the other 11 are white. Over the course of jury selection, prosecutors in Georgia objected to defense attorneys as they repeatedly moved to strike potential black jurors from the trial, calling it unconstitutional. And while Judge Timothy Walmsley, what a name, acknowledged intentional discrimination in the panel, he told the court he was unable to reinstate any jurors who'd been dismissed, saying the defense made race-neutral arguments for tossing them. Look at that. The judge acknowledged intentional discrimination. That is wild to me. The judge acknowledged discrimination. Now, judges have a lot of authority when it comes to court proceedings. I don't know the specifics of it. Again, I'm not a lawyer. But any situation in which a judge is saying, yeah, okay, they are being discriminatory in how they handle this, and then nothing changes, is just wild to me. I don't know what authority the judge has over the processes here, but we can leave that aside. It's just, I mean, if it's obvious enough, they've been able to explain to the court why, besides race, those individuals were struck from the panel. Essentially, the defense that was played there, the strategy of the defense attorneys was, the strategy we're all familiar with, right? It's be discriminatory against people of color, but don't ever say it's because they're people of color. Find adjacent characteristics you can use to discriminate against them, while Pepe posting and saying that actually it's totally not because of race. This is precisely how modern day racism takes place across the board in pretty much every institution in America. Not overt active racism, because if even Republicans can't get away with saying, oh, I hate black people, that doesn't fly. But they all have the feeling, and yeah, war on drugs tactic. Oh, we don't hate black people. We just think that inner city neighborhoods are deserving of especially rigorous policing. And also, I think that, there's a crack epidemic and it should be charged worse. And also, and obviously the consequence of it's just plausible deniability, which allows you to essentially perpetuate racist policy without having to name race. Well, anyway, it ended up not working. The defense's tried and true strategy of being racist did not actually get a not guilty verdict for these three fucks. So they're going to be in jail for a long time. Now, a lot has been going on lately. We have Rittenhouse. We also recently had the Charlottesville settlement. That happened, I think, just yesterday? Here we go. The Charlottesville rally organizers have been fined $25 million, which is absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Jury in Charlottesville, Unite the Right Trial awards plaintiffs $25 million in damages, which is just spectacular. 9 plaintiffs injured in the deadly 2017 rally in Virginia alleged a group of white nationalists and white supremacist organizations conspired to commit the violence. And imagine my shock. White nationalists and white supremacists conspiring to commit violence. This really is the nail in the coffin on the alt-right. Not on racism, not on fascism, not even on Nazism, but the alt-right. The euphemized, briefly allowed on mainstream media, spark in a dumpster fire of a movement. This was their moment, and they fucked it up, and they've just continued to fuck it up after the fact. The Charlottesville rally on its own was bad, but then when Milo Yiannopoulos leaked Richard Spencer sounding like a supervillain, coping and seething over the coverage of Charlottesville. And now we have the $25 million being awarded in damages. And they eventually removed the damn statue that the whole rally was in, support of. Where'd all the alt-right folks go? Are they all QAnon now? Yeah, they're bleeding into other movements. QAnon is like the big one at the moment. That's sort of the big rallying cry for their particular movement. But right now, conservatives are looking for a W. They're looking hard for a W. I was tweeting about Ahmaud Arbery earlier on Twitter, and I saw this in chat the other day too. There were people, I'm going to call them white boys because just a feeling I have, but they were, jumping into the replies, into the chat, and they were like, Vosh, do you have anything to say about the anti-white massacre that took place in, what was it, Minnesota, Michigan? The drive-through when the car drove through all those people. You're right. I haven't given my perspective because I don't even know if there's a Wisconsin. Thank you. I don't even know if there's a political motivation to that. I genuinely don't know. I haven't looked into it. My hot take on this is it's bad to kill innocent people by driving into a crowd. That's my hot take. I know. But anyway, I've seen a bunch of them on social media. They're like, well, the left is silent about the anti-white violence. Jesus Christ. Do you guys remember after George Floyd was murdered by the cop, there was that white kid who was killed by a black guy on the white kid's lawn? And they were like, justice for this kid. Why is Black Lives Matter silent? And the black guy who killed the white kid was like immediately apprehended and immediately charged and will absolutely go to jail forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. John Doyle was talking about this. They were all pretending to be like this little, like the civil rights, moment where they're like, justice for this kid. But like the guy who killed the kid has already been arrested. I don't know what. And it wasn't even racially motivated, if I recall correctly. They literally just, it really shows the conservative mindset. Yeah, the 5-year-old kid. It really shows the conservative mindset because they think the equivalent of George Floyd being murdered by a police officer for no reason is a white person dying to a black person under any circumstances. Just like whether or not there's injustice, whether or not it's a cop, whether or not it's racially motivated, whether or not any of that, just if a white person dies to a black person, that's the same as Floyd. Which is a pretty racist equivalence to draw, but, that never stopped them before. The guy was mentally ill, so it wasn't even motivated by race. Well, it's a tragedy. Yeah, the mom of that kid even said, stop exploiting my child for political shit, The right loves to do that. Even Rittenhouse was saying that yesterday. He acknowledged, he said, Lynn Wood was exploiting me for political gain. The right has exploited me for political gain. You have all these congressional congressmen who are like saying, I'll arm wrestle you over who gets the Rittenhouse. I'll do a sprint with you. We'll find out. And Rittenhouse has apparently declined them. He's saying, no, leave me alone. I think it speaks volumes to the right's insincerity when it comes to supporting their own. It really is just like there is no such thing as mutual aid on the right. The idea of fighting for common well-being is just not there. All of them are. It's just a constant, non-stop grift pile of just a pile of bodies where people are charging at each other, and whoever's on top at that moment is the one who's doing conservatism the most. But there's no real substantive in-group preference there. Just a grift pile. What a sad way to live. Oh, it's deeply sad. Can you imagine being the mother of that 5-year-old white boy who was killed by a mentally ill black person? Dealing with that. I mean, imagine just dealing with that on its own. And then you go online and you are being invoked by fascists, by neo-Nazis, and by the broader right as some kind of martyr for whiteness, Can you imagine dealing with the death of your child and then seeing that? I mean, just fucking revolting. Anyway, the conservatives are going to be looking for a W right now. What with them being extra super duper mad that the judge didn't say that Ahmaud Arbery's killers couldn't go ahead and do another lynching once they're free. Tim Pool was on it too. I actually got to say, surprised that Tim Pool went with it. Not to say he doesn't have his dumb fuck takes all the time. I just didn't expect this one, you know? The question in the Arbery verdict was whether the citizen's arrest was justified. This is why it was felony murder. I don't understand how so many people are claiming it was the right verdict when this issue is so incredibly nuanced and complicated. It could easily get appealed. No, there's not really any value to these words. You can just sort of, I mean, you could see this in your Alphabix soup if you wanted and ascribe as much meaning to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tim Pool was big on the he wasn't jogging thing, so whatever. I think Hassan goes after him here. Kyle Rittenhouse was clear-cut self-defense, but when three dude in pickups trail a black man in broad daylight and kill him, film the process, then admit he wasn't even a threat, then it's actually a really complicated situation. Got it. Then Tim says, yes, Kyle ran away from the mob. Arbery ran towards Travis and grabbed his gun. If the citizen's arrest is legal, then charges don't stick. If the citizen's arrest is illegal, then it's felony murder. The jury was instructed on this. Well, the jury decided, didn't it? Please at least Google it before commenting. He's ignoring some key facts here. Yeah, he's ignoring some key facts here. That is true. I don't even want to get into it. You can look at the facts of the case if you want. Like I said, you're reading this out of alphabet soup. Not to get in the nitty-gritty, but they chased Arbery with pickups for 5 minutes. Maybe you should look at the details. It's weird that we agree, but you still made an argument. Tim does this every time, too. Whenever he says something really dumb, you're like, well, here's why you're wrong. And Tim's like, no, we agree. But, you know, and then the last tweet is like a combo of right-leaning and left-leaning people dunking on him for it. Oh, and then finally, we actually have Tulsi Gabbard with the big brain take up in here. If America is a racist country, Arbery's killers would not have been found guilty by a nearly all-white jury in Georgia. Most Americans of all colors believe in Dr. MLK's adage that as God's children, we should be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. This is literally, hey, listen, I know that a black guy was lynched by 3 white people with police connections, and the police didn't even arrest them until public pressure was exerted, and conservatives defended the lynchers for months before justice was actually arrived at. But all this together in a package means that racism is done. We're over with. It's all over, folks. We did it. This is big, like Obama got elected, therefore racism is over energy, but it's actually worse because we're talking about a victim of a lynching. I mean, this would be like, it's like any situation in which like a black person has been lynched is not one in which your follow-up take should be, you know, oh, racism, it's over with. Nice. Oh, we know, Shu. That's okay. But you're here with us now. And now you know that Obama being elected only made America more racist. Very good. Very good stuff. Look, conservatives are going to be looking for a W for a bit. So I hope they have fun with that. But look, okay? What matters most is that the people who killed Ahmaud Arbery are now going to jail. And they're going to be very unhappy in jail, I imagine, because jail kind of sucks. And it's morally good that they're unhappy. Easy peasy. It's simple as it gets, really. That's ethics for you right there. It's good when people who lynch other people are unhappy. It's very simple. Socrates said it. I'm saying it now. Mastery of ethics right there. Yes, they're going to prison, not jail. Yeah, prison, not jail. Yeah, jail is when you're awaiting the trial. Yep, yes, okay, yes. Well, anyway, they'll be unhappy either way. Didn't conservatives literally get a W with the Rittenhouse verdict? Yeah, but then Rittenhouse talked with Tucker Carlson and said that the only thing we have to lose is our chains, and talked about communism as a specter haunting Europe. And I think the conservative W got kind of muddled a bit with the, you know, with the some of the states, you know, lowered a little bit. Anyway.